Present case study of various contents of motion recognition model development by experience like motion recognition. Running process of new experience while the motion activity program based in technique sensor. Research method. This is the characteristics of the subject of this study. We selected and conducted students, while students of the residence section. Research design model, experiment products. Program production. In this first on the motion game, the individual's simple name, gender, and date of birth were recorded to qualitate the joint value of each individual skeleton. Research design, program design. After scoring the motion or elements in the motion game, participants abilities to perform motion activities. Program design 2, for time given to a motion that appears on the screen was set to 20 seconds, and in this study, 8 motion were selected as a case study, and the score was real. Program design 3. The score information program that appears on the screen render an image of himself moving in the image of the screen, and through this check his or her moving in movement. This finger is an example of setting the skeleton value for each motion. The next finger, joint value, The following is the video that was studied in the, I will watch for a while. Individual gain score as a result of the experiment. 12 movements were first selected from 24 movement expression activities. Conclusion. For design and implementation of motion activities, the creation model was experienced and the personality of using the proposed motion activities. Motion recognition model was verified through the simple experiment. As a result of the experiment, the overall average for a select movement from 24 activities of 5 participants showed concordance rate of about 60%. Through the case of this study, it was found that the effect of the running of movement activities occurred to LMA during long-term progression is participating in motion recognition game. In future research, it is frontiers to activities and develop advanced education contents so that the earlier experience program contains for prevention of mental and improvement of physical movement development can be performed.
Okay. Do you have any questions or comments?
So your title paper is so nice, so nice. So many people use the synthetic camera sensor, so it's easy to segment eye size, nose size, mouth size, based on 3D images. So that's why it's easy to determine she got a smile action or unhappy action, a sleep action, whatever. But the important thing is you must determine camera distance. So there was some person in here, so you set up the camera. So I got the same simulation like you. So I installed the camera and maybe they were 1.5 meter, it is all right. But more than 2 meter, 3 meter, the performance is not good. So the important thing is, as you know, light condition and distance condition between camera and people. So did you compare distance and light condition? That is very important for Kinect 3 dimensions camera sensor.
Future research.
You have to consider. It will be improved visual.
네, 앞으로도 이제 그렇게 연구를 하려고 합니다. 네, 왜냐면 이게 제가 한국말로 먼저 드리겠습니다. 이게 이게 단지 키넥트를 가지고 그냥 얼굴 인식과 손발의 제스처를 인식을 하는 게 아니고 저희는 온몸을 그거를 무용의 기본적인 동작, 그러니까 이모셔널, 희노애락의 감정에 맞는 동작을 키넥트가 인식함으로써 참여자가 그 동작을 지속적으로 하면서 신체 활동을 원활하게, 그러니까 무용의 동작을 좀 잘하고, 그러니까 그 장애 아이들이 더 학습을, 신체 활동의 학습 효과를 높이기 위해서 온몸을 인지하는 걸로 그렇게 12개의 관절을 썼습니다. 네.
그러니까 이게 잘 아시겠지만 3차원 킨텍스 센서가 한 20만 원, 20만 원 지금도 가격 내려가 있겠죠. 이거 쓰면은 스케치는 인식은 기본적으로 되고요.
네.
그거가 이제 2D가 아니고 3 다이멘션이기 때문에 얼굴 표정 인식도 돼요. 근데 이게 액션 가지고 이 사람이 동작이 틀리냐 말느냐 로우 레벨은 뭐 거리 제한이 없는데 이게 지금은 2 다이멘션을 3D 다이멘션에서 픽셀 단위까지 얘가 보고 있는 3D 킨텍 센서가 그거 하는 이유가 우리가 얼굴 인식했을 때 감정 인식이 잘 안 되기 때문에 킨텍 센서를 쓰거든요. 그러니까 게임에서 액션 가지고 이 사람이 그 액션에 따라서 반응 나타나는 킨텍 센서 게임이 꽤 많아요. 그럴 때는 거리 제한도 없고 라이트 조명 조건도 필요가 없는데 그러니까 이게 전처리 후처리 다 해야 되는 게 이렇게 봐도 동작을 했을 때 그 동작을 유치해서 이게 뭐 행복한 동작이냐 뭐 어레피냐 뭐 어쩌고저쩌고 할 때 이게 전처리를 했는데 이게 오리를 잡았으면 후처리로 표정인식도 같이 학습하는 게 좋다는 얘기죠. 근데 그게 된다니까요.
그게 그렇죠.
지금 옛날에는 그냥 게임하고 액션만 되는데
네.
감정이식까지 얘가 들어있고 그거를 하다 보니까 거리 제한하고 주명 조건이 반드시 들어가고 ICA, PCA 이게 들어가고
네.
그러니까 지금 하시는 거는 조금 이제 인식률이 좀 낮을 거예요.
아니요, 이번에 2020년대에 나온 에저 키넥터는 굉장히 좋더라고요. 그거를 써서.
카메라 얼마짜리 있으시거든요?
카메라는 키넥트 카메라라고 있습니다. 네.
얼마짜리?
그거 60만 원.
10만 원밖에 안 돼요.
60만 원.
60만 원.
네,
굉장히
에저
비싸요.
키넥터.
이게 버전이 계속 올라갔어요.
네, 20년대 새로 나왔더라고요. 그걸 가지고 하니까 훨씬 더.
픽셀 단위까지 정확하게 봐요.
그거는 아직 못했어요. 저희가 이제 몸의 움직임을 나타내는 거다 보니, 네. 그래서 반절의 각도의 값을 가지고.
스케이트로는 잘 될 거예요.
네네.
표정 인식 이런 거는 많이 떨어져요.
네.
이게 거리 제한이 있어요.
네.
조명 조건.
그 장애, 지적 장애 친구들 같은 경우가 경증하고 중증의 차이가, 경증은 자기를 표현할 수가 있는데, 중증은 자기 표현을 하는 거 굉장히 어려워요. 그래서 그거를 좀 더, 우리가 학습을 통해서 자연스럽게 자기를 표현하게 하고, 이렇게 뭔가 그러한 코로나19로 인해서 뭐 자기 몸을 자해를 하거나 가해를 하는 불안한 것을 좀 스트레스나 여러 가지 학습 효과를 좀 높이기 위해서.
알겠습니다. 피스텍트 센서가 표정 인식 된다는 거 한번
네,
찾아보면
네.
많이 나오겠습니다.
다음에 자기 연구를 한번 해보겠습니다. 네.
Okay, I want you present in English this time. Thank you.
감사합니다. 땡큐.
Okay, next speaker, 서현진.
아니 이거 소리 나는 거 자꾸 붙이고 가시. 다음 사람 또 보세요.
남한군 starts its duration of number of residents by 4 placements of elderly medical welfare facilities using post-funded cities market. And due to Korea is a relatively aging society, along with the rapid aging, the number of facilities for the elderly is increasing. Most of the elderly who have insufficient coping ability and are uncomfortable to are accommodated in the medical welfare facilities for the elderly used in this study. If a major accident occurs, it can be the biggest damage. Thus, the study aims to evaluate the efficiency and floor small and education safety by analyzing the result of placing residents and steps in its floor using test finder. Assuming there are 48 residents, there are multiple study steps, one director, one social worker, one doctor, 2 nurse or nurse aides, and clinical workers, and 2 cooks. The calculation basis is displayed in the screen. The working speed of the employees was 1.2 meters per second, which is the working speed of the healthy person with the mind and body familiar with the past. And to help residents who cannot escape on year 1, an assisted education team was designed. The team consists of doctor, nurse aide, social worker, and care worker. The and care worker. The behavioral characteristics of director and cook is self-education, is the education independently. The scenarios was composed as follows. In scenario 1, employees were placed on the first floor, male residents were placed on the second floor, and female residents were placed on the third floor, and analyzed whether education was possible during the possible education time. In scenario 2, beds were placed on the first floor, female residents were placed on the second floor, and male residents third floor, and analyzed whether education was possible during the possible education time. In scenario 3, male residents were placed on the first floor, male residents were placed on the second floor, and stepped on the third floor and analyzed whether education was possible during the possible education time. In scenario 4, female residents were placed on the first floor, male residents were placed on the second floor, and stepped on the third floor, and analyzed whether education was possible during the education time. Considering that the facility in this study is an elderly medical welfare facility, the study calculates the average education time as less than 5 minutes, assuming that unannounced wording are provided along with claims that during daytime. Considering the delay in education starting time regarding the age of residents during daytime, the study set education starting time as 60 seconds after the start of fire. Screen indication the average education time of residents. Simulation result. In scenario 1, the shortest education time was that there were 25 male and 25 female residents, and when there were 27 male and 27 female residents, the education time was over 300 seconds. Thus, the adequate number of residents from floor placement by scenario 1 is 25 male and 25 female patients, so that the education is completed within available education time. In scenario 2, the shortest education time was when there are 24 male and 24 female residents, and when there were 26 male and 26 female residents, the education time was over 300 seconds. Thus, the increased number of residents from floor placement by scenario 2 is 24 male and 24 female patients, so that the education is completed within available education time. In scenario 3, the shortest education time was when there were 27 male and 27 female residents, and when there were 29 male and 29 female residents. The education time was over 300 seconds. Thus, the increased number of residents from floor placement by scenario 3 is 27 male and 27 female patients, so that the education is completed within available education time. In scenario 4, the shortest education time was when there were 27 male and 27 female residents, and when there were 29 male and 29 female residents. The education time was over 300 seconds. Thus, the educated number of residents from floor placement by scenario 4 is 27 male and 27 female patients, so that the education is completed within a available education time. In conclusion, it was confirmed that placing steps on the first floor and higher floor and placing male residents in a role poorer than female residents have full education time. Thank you.
Thank you. It's very interesting. Any questions or comments?
Okay, those kind of books are already available in the, most of facilities. And you are saying male and the female gives a difference. But I think rather than male and the female, their conditions of impairment will affect the vacation time. That's what I think. 예, 저기 건물 비울 적에 소요되는 시간이 남성 노인들하고 남성 환자들을 1층에 두고 2층에 여자를 두게 빠르다 그러잖아요. 제 생각에 남자 여자로 구별하는 것보다 같은 남성 같은 여성이일지라도 그들의 육체적인 정신적인 상황에 따라서 그 도피 시간이 달라질 것이지 그게 남자 여자 성별로 구별한다고 해서 의미 있는 데이트를 줍니까? 그게 질문이에요. 네, 한국만 왔어요.
사기적으로 그 환자의 자력배치가 가능한 환자랑 자력배치가 불가능한 환자를 연구하고 있습니다.
근데 그게 이제 대피 시간을 재고 있는데 짧은 시간에 대피하는 거잖아요. 그 대피 시간의 차이를 남자, 여자 원인 때문에 차이가 난다고 그러셨다고요. 근데 제 생각에 남자, 여자 구별도 되겠지만 같은 남자라도 그 사람의 신체적인 그 상태, 질병의 정도에 따라서 대피 시간이 달라지지 여자도 마찬가지. 그거는 고려 안 하시고 성별로만 구별하세요. 나가기 질문은 궁금해서.
이번에는 성별로 연구를 해서
성별로만?
네. 차후에 그런 걸 그것까지 고려해서
예.
연구를 진행하려고 합니다.
예, 고맙습니다. 예.
질문을 저도 한 번만. 아까 스태프가 2층에 있는 시나리오는 없더라고요. 지금 보면 시나리오 저긴데 스태프가 1층에 있던
있어요.
3층에 있는데 거기는 2층에는 없더라고요.
2층이
있어요? 없죠.
네, 스태프는
2층.
2층이 없지.
1층, 3층.
근데 왜 그거는 따로 한번 해보면 될 건데.
제가 연구를
아니 왜 이제 시나리오를 4개만 잡았는데 스태프 2층에 있는 시나리오를 좀 뒀어. 해보면 금방 스태프가 높이 가면 갈수록 유리하다는 결론을 냈잖아요. 근데 예를 들어 스태프 2층에 생각보다 상식성이 있어. 2층에 있는 게 2, 3층을 빨리 구할 수 있을 것 같아가지고 그 생각이 드는데 왜 스태프 2층에 있는 걸 빼버렸습니까? 그게 문제는 왜 빼버렸는지.
제가 연구할 때는
네.
거기까지 생각을 못해서
예, 그리고 또 한 가지 추가 말씀드리면은 이게 건물의 구조에 따라서 예를 들어서 엘리베이터가 중간에 하나 있다, 끝에 뭐 2개 있다. 이런 거에 따라서 다를 것이고요. 계단의 모양이라든지 엘리베이터의 상호적인 모양 이런 것도 많이 영향을 줄 것 같은데 제가 하신 거는 성별로 구별하셨어요. 그게 조금 궁금하다.
성별과 스텝 위치,
그렇죠.
위치를.
네. 저는 이제 건물의 구조, 엘리베이터라든지 도피하기 위한 그 시설들, 그 다음에 같은 남성일지라도 그 상황, 여성일지라도 그들이 갖고 있는 신체적인 조건에 따라서도 다를 것 같아요.
저도 그렇게 생각하고 있어서 차후 연구를
예.
진행하고 있습니다.
Any questions for next? No? Thank you for the presentation. Good. Next speaker, Chair Kang.
Hi everyone. I am glad to and to be here. My name is Changjun Choi. I am a doctoral at Usop University, Department of Fire and Prevention. Also, I am a teacher of biology in high school. And I will be speaking about evacuation safety evolution according to slope of the school length. This slide is a presentation order. I will announce in this order. I'd like to start with analysis of, I'm sorry, introduction. I'm sorry, I favor this. Okay. I would like to start with analysis of prior research. Since we don't have enough time, I will summarize it on that next slide. Let me tell you the difference from prior research. It mainly deals with focusing on the study of work training analysis data when climbing a ramp, or study of health of the disabled and the elderly related to ramp. A study of evacuation safety on ramp is very little or no. Let me tell you the purpose of this study. First, I tried to compare the structure of ramps by the US and South Korea. Second, I tried to evaluate the safety of evacuation by with RSS according to different slopes of ramps for fire. This slide is standard for the installation of lamps by the US and South Korea. This application standard is rules on the standard for evacuation, fire protection of buildings and NFPA 101 of US. This slide is a picture of the research model of the simulation for high school, female and male. Also, I simulated the slope of the land differences, 10 degrees, 15 degrees, 20 degrees. Then, evacuation safety was compared and analyzed, and I would like to propose efficient evacuation regulations and facilities. This picture demonstrates a structural plan of the top-hat building. This map, door 1, this map is final evacuation exit. This slide demonstrates length of top-hat building. The slope was installed at 16 degrees. This slide is the configuration of scenarios. Scenarios 1, 2, and 3 have the same number of participants as 25 female. And the slope of each scenario was changed to 10 degrees, 15 degrees, 20 degrees. Scenario 4, target male students, each 25 people. Also, change slope degrees, 10 degrees, 15 degrees, 20 degrees. Evacuation initiation time. I'd like to show the evacuation initiation time and possible evacuation time. Area 72 square meters. The square root 72 is 8.5 per 30 equal 0.28 minutes, which transfer into 17 seconds. 30 seconds, 70 plus 30 seconds, 30 seconds. 30 seconds is evacuation training notice. Listen to
What does it mean?
what
시그마 A.
Sigma 8. What is the 8?
sigma.
Terminology 8. What does it mean? 8. Raji
8.
What's that?
Classroom capacity.
Classroom.
Yes, classroom capacity area. Listen to Korea, no fire, no protest and evacuate yourself. So, evacuation initiation time is 30 seconds. This table shows input variables and input values. In specified evacuation simulation, working speed male 1.19, female 1.1. Evacuation initial time 30 seconds. Male 173 female 161.2. Shoulder width male 39.8, female 35.7. This data refer human dimension survey of Koreans and the SFP Handbook of Fire Protection Engineering of US. I tell you evacuation simulation result. This slide is a video of the analysis result of scenario 1, where the slope is 10 degrees. Evacuation begins in 30 seconds. Evacuation complete in 149 seconds. This slide is a video of the analysis result of scenario 2, where the slope is 15 degrees. Also, evacuation begins in 30 seconds. Evacuation complete in 123.3. 25.7 seconds were shortened compared to at slope at 10 degrees. This slide is a video of the analysis result of scenario 3, when the slope is 20 degrees. Also, evacuation begins in 30 seconds. Evacuation complete in 127.5 seconds. 1.5 seconds were shortened compared to the slope at 10 degrees. .2 seconds longer than the slope of 15 degrees. This slide is a video of the analysis result scenario 4. Scenario 4 is 15 slope for male students. Evacuation begins in 30 seconds. Evacuation complete in 115 seconds. 6.3 seconds were shortened compared to 15 degrees for female students. Because the working speed of male students is faster than that of female students. This slide is a collection of nicely ahead of the video at a glance. the final RCF at slope at 15 degrees, 10 degrees, 15 degrees, 20 degrees, male slope 15 degrees. This table is the simulation result according to slope change when there were 25 people. When both male and female students have a slope of 15 degrees. If the final reset, RSET, and the maximum travel distance are the short female 15 degrees travel distance short. Male also 15 degrees short. This table is the result of 50 participants. Also, slope 15 degrees. Final RSET, travel distance maximum, short. Now I'd like to the conclusion. First conclusion was that the final RSET slope was 15 degrees for female, 25.7 seconds shorter than 10 degrees, 4.2 seconds shorter than 20 degrees. Second conclusion was that also for male students, the final reset slope 15 degrees. 23.8 seconds shorter than 10 degrees and 5.4 seconds shorter than 20 degrees. Third conclusion was that the maximum evacuation distance also female and male at slope 15 degrees is very short. And even with more participants, 15 degrees is the most effective slope. Let's look at the next slide. This is last slide. As the limitation of the study, the simulation with the slope of 5 degrees was not implemented because the slope was lengthened and the final exit protruded. I wanted to study increased reliability of evacuation safety according to the slope of the ramp and the height of the stairs. Therefore, I wanted to suggest these to be determined by evaluating the safety of evacuation by specific firefighting targets for the purpose. Thank you very much indeed for your kind attention. Have a nice weekend.
Do you have any questions?
Yes, I'm doing
Okay.
Yes. The slope of ramp is determined by the ratio of the horizontal distance and vertical distance.
I have dark ears loudly.
Hmm?
I have dark ears loudly.
크게 해요. 크게 해요.
아, 크게 해. The slope of a ramp is determined by two numbers, horizontal distance and vertical distance, right?
Okay.
Then suppose you have 10 degrees of slope. Even with the same degrees of slope, the distance is different. You did not consider the distance, you consider only the slope degrees. You have to consider the distance also, and you said number of participant is important. Of course that's important, but I think number of participants and the area of the ramp, that means the density of people is important, not the number. And some slopes are straight, and some slopes are curving. You did not distinguish those. Some are straight and some are curving. Can you explain it, please?
I think your question is participants more than more. And
Okay, participant, the number of people is important, but the area of the slope is also important, because distance between people can be interfere with each other if they are very close.
Perhaps you said bottleneck.
Yeah, if the density is very high, the bottleneck happens.
Okay.
But
slow.
the distance is far away, never happens the bottleneck phenomenon.
bottleneck experiment is in ramp is no observation. Stair in stair have bottleneck. Ramp, the slope of ramp, I tried to study the slope of ramp change differently 10, 15, 20.
Yes, that's important, but you did not say the distance.
Not consider people, only 25 people and 50 people.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you.
Any questions? Thanks for your presentation. Okay, last speaker, 한중희.
my name is Dr. K. I want to introduce our research company. Our topic is the impact of structure organization design on organic performance. Quick introduction. What is the role of corporate governance? To control top management team or to advise top management team or both. Previous research focuses on the question of whether board of directors will play enough role in monitoring and displaying method managers. Researchers carefully examine board structure, such as board aging, independence, tenure, and CEO duties. In fact, board is expected to focus on optimization of shareholders' wealth and prevent agents' externalization of their personal interests. Based on the agent theory, the conflict between managers and shareholders often motivates managers to act in their own best interest and against those of shareholders. In an environment without controlling tools and effective market regulations, managers are more likely to be against protecting their shareholders' interests. Therefore, impacts corporate governance practice such as board of directors or audit committee is essentially to reduce such conflicts and to be productive relationship with firm performance. Previous research reported mixed results on the relationships between board structure and firm performance. This study investigated the impact of board structure and organizational climate on board performance. Number one, first, board independence. Based on agent theory, it suggests that independent directors that have pure potential conflict of interest and can thereby provide greater integrity and offer partial judgment. CEO has incentives to influence the selection of a board that enables him to maximize its personal benefits. In contrast, directors have incentives to maintain their own independence, prevents them from being complacent about the field. Independent directors are expected to be more likely to represent shareholder interest and potentially take a stand against the CEO. These independents value their personal reputation and will go to great lengths to preserve their reputation. According to Adams, farmers argument that concern for his reputation will cause an agent to act more in his principal interest than standard approaches to agents might suggest. Some restriction frequently aids in getting more board seats or retaining the ones already had, a weak reputation the opposite. Thus, there is no positive relationship between independent directors and organizational performance. Second, board meeting. The number of meetings that the board holds in a year. The board effectiveness depends on the frequency of each meeting, and this can enhance the performance of the firm, given the fact that the board is provided with more opportunity of monitoring and reviewing the performance of management. Board of directors often increase the frequency of its meeting in order to find solutions to problems concerning design organization performance. Based on this question, there is a relationship between the number of the meeting and organization performance. Third, for the compensation, essentially research debate on the levels and qualitatively trained the company's compensation arrangement. This topic has become even more relevant for external recent corporate scandals and the control laws that have executives played in them. It can also apply to board compensation. For example, firms with more non-executive board members pay higher rates to their executives and perform with zero non-executive board members actually have fewer agents problems and much more better alignment of shareholders and agents suggestions. Compensating directors with your options is effective in reducing monitoring trouble and in placing the elements of directors and stockholders interest, especially independent directors' political performance incentive results from compensation turnover and obligation to obtain new board seats. We examine that outside director compensation is the positive associated with firm performance. Our method is using secondary data from 100 firms from 2016 to 2018. We slowly find out the effect of the board independence. We can frequency compensation on organizational performance. We tested on hypothesis using multiple regression analysis. As a result of the regression analysis, there is a positive relationship between board structure and organization performance. This appears to be consistent with agency theories. Prediction. Prediction that board of directors plays a critical role in agency relationship. For instance, these didn't begin to give some insight into the relationship between board structure and strategy, independence, activity, and compensation system and organization performance. Contribution is serving corporate governance research by directly examining the effect of board structure and organization climate on organization performance. Agents indicated throughout the paper there is a contribution needed for corporate governance research that unlocks the secret of effective board structure. For the agent theory, this finding indicates that increased